Yes, sir, what's poppin'? It's your host, Mr. CMPUNK, in the building. You already know, so happy to be here on this thirsty Thursday. I appreciate all the love, all the support. You know what I mean? Shout out everybody on Twitter, on YouTube. You already know, Mr. CMPUNK on air, available on iHeartRadio, Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you find your podcast. You already know we are in the building. Today we got a lot to talk about, so let's just jump right in. If you have any comments, questions, topics you want to talk about, hit me in the chat room, in the cake room, or hit me up at Mr. CakeAvs or Mr. CakeAvBeats at gmail.com. Yes, sir. One story that we're going to talk about is trending right now real big. Your boy is doing time. Kodak Black is sentenced to 46 months. You know, it's real crazy out here. You know, I think he got, for the weapons charges and this and that, If you don't know, he's only 22 years of age, according to reports. So let's just say he be out, 26? You know what I mean? He still be young. He still be early in his career. You know, maybe he could bounce back. You know, maybe he won't. You know, maybe he'll be able to make some hits. Maybe he won't. You don't know. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times, things that happen to you in your life, either you learn from it, or, it takes you down a different path. So, I hope he, gets his shit together. It's crazy, like almost all the up and coming artists, whether it was, Tekashi and, Bobby Shmurda, now Kodak Black, all these youths, that they just can't leave the shit alone. They just can't, and then they end up getting caught up, getting locked up, and doing some serious time instead of, being out, making their money, building their career, building their brand. They always getting caught up in this dumb shit. So, hope he really do better and just, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Next story. If y'all don't know, Apple has gotten into the streaming service. It's been talked about for a while, but now it seems like everybody's on it. Everybody's enjoying it. Millions and millions of people, and they really taking over the game. A lot of people is tired of, Netflix and all this other stuff. I think Netflix, they just made a big deal with Nickelodeon, and it's like these kind of moves or these kind of mergers is what is gonna keep them at least in the race. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna knock them out the game, but these moves that they doing is necessary. It's necessary to get these markets. I remember maybe a day ago or 2 days ago, something like that, YouTube actually sent a message out to the YouTube creators. Check out my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? I got some stuff on there. The rebroadcast of this show, Mr. CakeAve on-air, will be on there. That now the rules are you have to say if your content is for children or not. When I upload my shows, it's all explicit content. All my shows are, described, for adults only. But as a YouTube creator, with my other content and what I do, I would have to specifically do it because you never know. You know what I'm saying? You don't want to endanger your channel or your growth. Sometimes people put so much work into their YouTube, and then just to get it flagged or taken down or a strike or whatever the case may be, you want to be careful with that. So these streaming companies, they tapping into that market. Apple, Disney, Netflix, everybody's doing it. So, you know what I mean? That's real big news. Next story I wanted to talk about. Want to give a shout out. It's been 14 years since Eddie Guerrero had passed away. And I didn't even know it was that long till I seen the trending online. Like, I didn't know it was that long. Like, wow, 14 years. It's like I remember when I used to watch him wrestle. And you look, I don't think it, sometimes it's like, if you watch WWE, and you see people like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair, and, you see certain people, you don't think it's that long. You watch AEW, All Elite Wrestling on TNT, and you see Chris Jericho as a champion. It's like, I remember watching Chris Jericho when I was young, and then, now he's still top in the game. He's calling himself the GOAT, greatest of all time. But who else has been doing it since then and is on their top of their game now? I don't really know. So, it is what it is. But R.I.P., big R.I.P. to Eddie Guerrero. Like I said, it's been 14 years. And I just wanted to show him some love on the show One Time for You. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You already know. Speaking of the WWE, CMPUNK has returned, but not quite to in-ring competition. He has signed with an FS1 show called WWE Backstage. And he's not even really there full time. He's just, but the speculation, so many people thought he was going to go to AEW. He just was booked with StarCast, which is like, works closely with AEW. So a lot of people were speculating that he would never go back to WWE. And honestly, a lot of people say that he's not really with WWE because the FS1 show is done by Fox and not by WWE. So I know a lot of people, they just were so happy to hear the music drop, see him come out on a WWE show. He was there with people like Booker T, Samoa Joe, Renee Young, so definitely big news this week with the WWE signing, having CM Punk sign with their Fox show, WWE Backstage. Next story from coming out of the NFL. They finally given Kaepernick a workout. They finally given him the opportunity. If you've seen it on his tweets, he said he's been getting trained for 3 years. He's been training for this. He's been waiting for this. He ready. So, there was some things going on. He wanted a list of, who was going to be there to make sure it wasn't like a ploy or just a publicity stunt. But just to hear that he's in the conversation to get a workout, to get a tryout, is definitely good news. And, they saying that Jay-Z has something to do with it and this and that. If y'all remember, Jay-Z is kind of with the NFL now in a level where he said he had some say into it, or some influence trying to get Kaepernick back. I know a lot of people really don't care how Kaepernick gets back, as long as he gets back. And, the man really deserves it. I tweeted him. I met him years back at Chelsea Piers and the workout facility over there. He was real cool. Everybody was trying to, get autographs and hunt him down. And he actually came to the side and spoke to me and just said what's up and all that on just some man-to-man shit. So I really, one time for the man, doing his thing, man. Speaking of the NFL, there's talks of J-Lo gonna perform at the Super Bowl. Another thing where they say Jay-Z, reached out or something like that. Good for her, man. I really think that there should be more showcasing of different types of artists, just not pop stars, just not rap stars. It seems like, there's not a lot of diversity. So, definitely, it's a good look for the Bronx, and it's a good look for J-Lo. So you already know, J-Lo, do your thing, knock it out the park. And, you got a lot of people that's trying to support you and will always have your back. There's a lot of haters online, but it is what it is. In the last story, well, not the last story, but they talking about the appeal for Trump. They said like they could get your taxes. They could get your taxes. So, I don't know what's gonna happen. A lot of things getting interesting. He wanted it to be reality TV. He wanted to make the White House a show. Well, now they gonna make a show out of your ass. And we're gonna see what's really going on. And eventually, it don't look good for your boy. So a lot of people that was backing him is not really looking good. The holiday season's coming up and people's coming out with new phones, new technology. The Motorola Razr is coming back. But this shit look like a futuristic flip phone. I don't like the screens that bend and I just don't like those types of phones. They've tried to do it before and it just never worked out. And those phones always having problems and stuff like that. So if you got $1,500 that you want to get yourself a new Motorola Razr, go ahead. You got $1,500 to spend on somebody else. Go right ahead. They got them new phones coming out. $1,500. I will not be buying those. You already know I had a great time. If you have any comments about any of the topics we talked about, hit me in the chat room, in the cake room, or hit me online at Mr. Cake Ave or MrCakeAveBeats@gmail.com. Make sure you check out mustcnyc.weebly.com. #1 website for independent media. Promote yourself absolutely free. No gimmicks, no sign-ups, no donations. You already know. You don't have to put in no credit card information. No, nothing. You already know. Just send me the link. We accept most embedded systems, Reverb Nation, SoundCloud, and YouTube. That's just how it goes down. I had a great time. Stay warm. It's getting real crazy. Make sure you check out my other podcast, NY Certified, every Friday. Available on Apple, Google, Spotify, and most podcast distributors. Make sure you check it out. Had a great time. Like I always say, stay up and stay strong.